So one of the things that I want to do this year is to upgrade the electrical situation on the Garden Railway. And I checked my videos and I did this in 2015. So actually it is getting 10 years old now. And there is a couple of reasons why I want to do it. First of all is, so some of the things is actually falling apart. I mean, it's exposed to the elements for 10 years now. And also I want a little bit easier accessibility. You can see stuff down there. And yeah, I just want to make it a little bit nicer. So let's see what we have at the moment. So this electrical situation ship now consists of two different boxes. So here we have one of the cabinets, and so this was something that I installed initially in 2014. So that's roughly about 11 years old now. And the main issue I have with this one is, well, it's small and it was created initially for a very simple transformer. And well, first of all, this tab has broke off a couple of years ago, so it doesn't really seal properly anymore. There's a lot of dust and a little bit of corrosion that you can see in the back, so it is not ideal. And also most of the access for the wires and everything is in the back, so it is open in the back, although I think I use silicone to seal everything up. But definitely there is some moisture which gets into here, so I want this gone, and I want as little, you know, electronics in where, you know, I have access to the back and, you know, moisture can get in. So this is something that needs to go. So then 1 year later, 2015, I installed this box where I have pretty much everything. So all the low voltage stuff is here, and you know, this is working well, and this certainly has aged as well. And my main issue is that I put this big panel here, and that doesn't give me access to anything in the back. So I want, yeah, I want to get rid of this big panel, and also I want this to be, I don't know, somewhat modular, so it's much easier to access all the electronics behind it if I need to service it. Because at the moment I need to take out this whole part, and it just becomes a little bit, it's yeah, tiresome. I don't like to work on this one. So yeah, that's the goal. So I think what I tried to do today is get the innards out and put everything in a new box and leave this here, and I will do the replacements in the spring when the nicer weather comes. And before I completely disassemble it, let me show you the how this is designed. So I have the mains coming in from here, which feeds this this transformer. So that provides, I think, 24 volts for the booster, and then the output, well, the input for the booster is the control box, the Merklin control box, which again had this small power adapter as well. So you know, that was also like a little bit haphazardly put in here. So the signal, the digital signal, goes into the booster, and then the output from the booster goes through this stage where I can switch what goes into the tray. And then I have a separate power supply, and that's only for 12 volts for the lights and everything. So, you know, this looks a little bit crusty, so I have to see the condition of that. Of course, this was mostly designed indoors as well, so I have to see the condition of that as well. And yeah, I mean, you see the screws are completely rotted, and I'm happy that in the new design it's going to be less of these, because there is a mounting plate and everything, so I think it's going to look more professional than that. Okay, so this has got it out, and yeah, it's going to stay until I have the new box and I can just remove everything and then replace. It's way too cold to work outside, so probably that's going to be in another couple of months time, I guess. So I'm thinking that this is going to be the general layout, and I just realized I thought this is going to be a really big box. Oh, by the way, I didn't show you this. So that's the new cabinet. It's quite nice. It's very deep. It has this, you know, gasket around here, and then big latches, and loads of space. At least I thought. And then I looked at the plate. Oh, by the way, as I said, so this doesn't have DIN rails, but it has these plates that I can mount everything to. And actually, in my case, because I mostly have these boxes, I think it works much better for me. But then, yeah, it's not an awful lot of space, as you can see. I mean, it's pretty much full. And the layout I had in mind is that all the mains part is going to be here on the top. So you see a main disconnect. I thought I'm just going to add a socket as well, in case I need power here. And then the two main power supplies. So this is the, I think, around 20 volt power supply for all the DC part. That's the DC booster, and that's the Maclean control box, and that's the selection thing, which I can use to select the inputs from either this one or the booster or some analog inputs, which I still need to mount some sort of connector to. And that's for the 12 volt power supply. And so all the AC connections are going to be up here. And I still have this thing, and that's the power supply for the control box, but this uses 18 volts. And I'm thinking that probably what I can do is I can put a small DC-DC converter to this one, so it brings the 20 volts. I think this is set to 20 volts. You know, it has a small pot, so even though it's sold as a 24 volt power supply, you can bring it down to 20 volts. So if I can have a small DC-DC here, which can bring it down to 18, although this might be happy with 20 volts as well, I'm not really sure. But probably I can add that. So I still have a bit of space sort of here, a little bit of space here. And the whole box is like this deep. So I'm thinking that maybe I'm going to need some sort of shelf here for like a second level. So I can, you know, mount things like this, you know, power indicator. I want a separate volt and amp meter for this power supply, and one for this as well. So these are going to be somewhere here. I also want this guy to be sit up higher. So yeah, maybe I have to think about building a second level, but I'm not really sure how I'm going to mount it. But Yeah, because I want this one pretty much flush here to the end of the board. So yeah, we'll see. But it's coming along. At least everything fits, and I still have a few extra places, you know, to put anything if I need in the future. But I don't think I really need one. I mean, maybe I need some switches here, but again, I can just do it on the second level somewhere here. So maybe I should build an elevated platform around this area, because there is nothing really here that I need to have access to. But yeah, so I think that's going to be a plan. show you most of the work that I've done. I mean, I haven't really recorded all the wiring because, I mean, frankly, it was boring. There wasn't really much happening. I mean, yeah, it's most of it is straightforward. So you've seen most of these things mounted on this base plate. So that was done already. In the previous video, I also mounted these, and I use this really big metal standoff. So it is, you know, further up, it's easier to reach this button. But mainly from the top, that's the main voltage section. So I have a main disconnect here, which for some reason is not working. So I have to take it back to the shop. It feels like it's defective, but I don't know how something like this can be defective. So I have a mains plug in case I need power. So that's a neutral bus bar and the earth bus bar. And from this, I have a mains and I have a small current transformer, and I have these cheap Chinese panel meters. So this measures voltage and current on the AC side. So it's a good feedback just to see that, you know, how much power I'm pulling, especially if something is plugged in here, and, you know, just making sure that the voltages are right. So then the mains voltage basically feeds these two transformers. So this is outputs 20 volts for the digital system, and this outputs 12 volts for all the auxiliary power. And then also I have this small DC-DC converter, which steps down the 20 volts to 18 volts for the Macrin control box. And that's where the Macrin mobile station controller is connected to. So the 24 volts, the 20 volts, which comes out of this, goes into this panel meter. So again, it's a simple one. It measures voltage and current as well. So again, it's a good indication to see how much power the trains are pulling. And especially now with the Locosound XL decoders from EZU, which has you know, buffer capacitors built in, it is really interesting to see how the amp goes up and down. So that really tells you that, you know, how dirty the track is, so that the buffer capacitor is really working and the amp just goes up and down crazy. I mean, which is not nice. It's putting probably a lot of strain on the power supply, but at least I can tell that, you know, the track needs cleaning. So that's the panel meter, and then the power goes into the booster, and I think what's the DC in, so that's the DC in, and then also into the booster I have the signal wire, which is coming in from the, so that's the digital signal from the control box. And then the output goes into this big selector switch. So this is where I can select that what signal goes into the track, which will be connected here. So I can select the signal from the booster, which I would normally use. And I can also select directly from the control box, which is required because most of my decoders, or most of my locos now have MFX decoders. So there is a two-way communication between the loco and the Macrin mobile station, and that feedback data does get blocked by the booster. So what I usually do, I switch on to the direct input, and then the mobile station recognizes the new loco, which is put on the track, and it memorizes it, and then I can switch back to booster, and then, you know, normal booster output. And then I also have a third input. You see another wire is connected in here, and I have this thing which has 4 connections. So it has the 20 volts coming in from the power supply, and then I can connect an external analog controller if I have some gas trains which run on analog power. So that's my option to run analog as well. And on the 12 volt side, there is nothing really here. I have a second panel meter, so this is very similar to the previous one. And then also I'm feeding this circuitry from 12 volts because that also runs on 12 volts. You can see the small power. That just basically, you know, powers the relays and the chip and the LEDs. There's nothing really here. So that's where I am. And I think, as I said previously, I want to do a platform here so I can mount these panel meters on. And then probably I also want to do some switches here. So on the 12 volts, I can switch things like the station buildings and the platform and, you know, whatever other circuits that I can turn on and off from here, which I had in the previous layout as well. So I want to keep it here. So probably I have to build some supports here, maybe some standoffs and a big plate or something. So it's probably going to be like a CNC cut wood plywood panel, because there's nothing really here that I cannot block. I mean, I should have enough airflow ventilation for this fan, but other than that, something around this height, which is sort of like that height, is, you know, is more than enough. And I have, you know, place for these cables to go under, and then these cables to go under, and also the third panel meter, which is up there. So that's the plan. A little bit of fabrication. I have some leftover materials which I'm going to use, but I don't have an exact plan yet. Okay, so let's have a feel how much space we have. So that's sort of like the bottom of this is, so this level is around 15 centimeters. So probably I want to go a little bit lower, or I can, but yeah, let's see. So I think this panel meter is the deepest one I have. So if I do 12, maybe I do 12 millimeters, that would be sort of flush with the socket, and I will still have a couple of, you know, centimeters leeway. So if I have a bigger switch, something like that, and also take the wood panel into account, which is like, you know, 6 mil or 4 mil. So I think I would have the support go all the way up to 12 centimeters. So some progress has been made yesterday, but I didn't film it because I was just too lazy to bring the camera out. But it was mostly tearing down the old boxes and I'm putting the new ones in. So this one, oh, this is one missing a screw. So that's going to be the main, you know, everything. That's mains, and those are the sort of the interconnect which goes into the wall and onto the layout. So yeah, I mean, I need to wire in the mains, so that's the mains cable. It's already there. I need to connect it up, and I need to bring a few more wires up to here so I can connect to the track. And here I have some accessory lights, and that's unused. So that's what we are going to do today. So I have two of these thicker cables, that's for track. One thicker cable, that's going to be ground for accessory, and four really thin ones, these are going to be 12 volts for the accessory. Which is going to be a challenge because this is not a big conduit. So getting everything through here, it's, yeah, we'll see. Okay. That wasn't too bad. Ciała. Kurwa anyád. Bassza meg már! Earlier this week we still had freezing temperatures overnight, but now today I had to change the shorts because it's getting so warm. Yeah, so almost everything is done. So I have these 4 wires, so these are going to switch lights and accessories, and they are going to be connected to these 4 buttons. So I just need to put these, it's not spade, what's the other one? So these connectors, so I can slot them in, and then I have to wire them here as well somewhere. I mean, I only have one. I mean, it's basically at the moment everything is either on and off, so I think I'm just going to wire to any of the switches, and then maybe a couple of you know, maybe down the line I can just say that that's platform, that's, you know, building number 1, number 2, number 3, or something similar. But let me show you. So I got the mains here. I had the cable ties all goes up to the main switch, live and neutral, and that's the earth. The main breaker is not on yet, and yeah, so that connection down here, that's for the track power, and that's going to be the accessories. Okay, and we have a bird. Do you see the bird? Oh, yeah, stealing walnut. Come on, pick it up. You dropped it. There you go. A little bit of wildlife. Okay. Reposition. And let's do it. Ah, yeah. Okay, I have to bring out the soldering gun. Okay, no worries. Let me trim them first. I have to admit, I don't really use these power stations a lot. I mean, I have these old powers, and I also have a smaller Bluetti. The Bluetti has a UPS function, so I like to use that for my 3D printer, you know, in case there is a power outage. Which, well, I mean, we never get a power outage, but anyway. Come on. Okay, it's on. But this is good now, because yeah, I don't have power at the moment. I'd rather turn everything off whilst I'm working, even though I'm not working on the main stuff anymore. But still, I guess it's better be safe than sorry. Let me tilt you down. Yeah, so it's a good excuse to use it. I was trying to use it with for my hammer drill yesterday. So this guy only does 700 watts peak, and the hammer drill is 1500 watts. So, you know, it was fine to spin up the hammer drill, but as soon as there was a load, it was like, nah, that's too much for me, and it stopped working. Okay, how do we do this with 2 hands? Okay. Okay, can you still see that? I think you can. I can see it's sucking the solder into the connector. Ah, hot. Okay, going anywhere. Oops. Okay, good. And I bought some heat shrink. Where is it? Okay, let's get these on. So I think first one is going to go on like... I do like these because they have lights in them, and so it's a single, double throw single pole. So you get power and ground, and that's the switch output. And of course it switches the power out. Okay. Why? Okay, finally. Okay. I think technically I have a space to leave the controller here for the summer if I want to. But I mean, there is so much stuff that I need to bring in and out anyway that you know, having the controller outside is not going to make a big difference. Okay, yeah, I made a mistake here. Anyway, let's just ignore that. This panel is going to be printed again at some point. Oh, sorry, laser cut. Oh, CNC cut. Okay, here we have... So I need to figure out this old connection. I mean, I know that these go to the tracks. So these are the various, you know, platform 1, 2, 3, 4 on the station. And the thicker ones, they go onto either side of the station to feed the main line. So, and they are connected to the blue and black cables, so I don't have to worry about those. So that's lights. So all the accessories are connected using network cable. So, and there was a switch here, and that was the old feed, which I can remove. I don't need that anymore, and also I don't need that anymore. So, oh, okay, so this is, oh shoot, okay, that must have been a negative. So that was common ground. So here is common ground. Okay. It's quite amazing that this Wago is able to hold these very thin wires safely as well. And my common ground is this accessory common. So that goes in here. Okay. And the other connection here after the switch, so that must be 12 volts. Yep. So it looks like I'm using the browns for 12 volts. Okay, and all the other wires are unused, so I just keep them together like that and like that. Yeah, so white, brown is ground, and brown is 12 volts. And I'm just going to connect all of these. So if I switch on any of the switches at the moment, so that's going to give 12 volts to the lights, houses, platform this can hold two in the same connection. Yeah, I think you're not supposed to, but this is not mains. Okay, I think that's it. What's this? Yeah, so this goes to the platform in the middle of the station. And yeah, I think I need to silicone that opening. I'm not really sure if I have silicone, but I'm going to check. But first, I think it's time for testing. Maybe I should have added a bracket here just to keep this cable in here. Anyway, and also I have this key to open it, and I think the best would be to keep it here, because otherwise I'm just going to lose it. Okay, so I think time to test. So I think I'm going to leave the camera in. I'm going to go inside, power it up, and the camera should be running to see if there is any smoke. Okay, watch for smoke. The GSC didn't trip, so that's a good sign. So let's try this main switch. $19.6, that's for the booster. 11.6, that's for the accessories. 7 milliamps, 70 milliamps. That's, I would expect that to be 0. This one is upside down, but other than that, everything is working. You hear the fan from the main power supply, but that's good. Ooh, 240 milliamps without anything on, so probably there is some sort of short or something. Probably has some moisture in it, one of the connectors. Okay, I think I should bring out some loco and a controller and something to test the accessories with. There's no way the loco is going to run up to the whole winter, so I'm just cleaning that small section of the track, so at least we can hear sound or something. That's my favorite test loco. Okay. So on the track. That's my favorite building. Well, one of them. And here we have, yeah, PowerPoint. So let's give it a go. Ah, it's booting. $300 milliamps. That sounds about right. No, it's the wrong loco. I think it's this one. Yeah, it is working. I'm not sure if you will be able to see that. Okay, that's good. Let's try the accessories. That's working as well. think you can see. Yeah, you won't be able to see the lights. So it's like office sounds, but let me undo the camera. Yeah, the lights are on. Let's give it some sound. Okay, I am happy. I think the only thing which is left now is flip that around and close that for now. I will deal with, you know, finishing up the cabling a little bit later. But so far this has been busy. Success. And so we are drawing 260 milliamp hours. So that's basically the local running, not doing much. And 390 with the lights and the sounds on. And I realized that with the 240 was probably these 4 indicator lights. But yeah, so this is supposed to be like an office. So the sounds are like, you know, computer typing and phone ringing. And by the way, this is one of my concrete buildings. So what you see here is actually concrete. And of course painted. You can see the different panels. So this is one panel, that's another panel. That's the same panel as this one. 3D mold and just, you know, normal concrete. I think I used cement and fine, the kind of sand that you use to put between the paving tiles. Yeah, it's a nice building, nothing fancy. And I haven't stuck down the roof because I want to make the sound a little bit quieter. I think it's a little bit too much for a background sound. But yeah, I'm happy. This looks good. And I think it is complete. It is definitely complete for now. Well, thanks for watching and see you in the next one.